our prayer book into the chat. I just have to pull it up here. But it is good to see everyone. And we are going to be joined today by our leader. Our prayer book into hold on a second. Chat. I just have to pull it up here. But it is good to see everyone. So I'm going to mute myself so you don't have to hear me double because that's YouTube. And Jonathan Bayer can take over.
Thanks. I know that we're entering Kabbalat Shabbat now, but I just wanted to chip in that I watched His Dark Materials series with my kids, and it was really good on HBO. Philip Pullman. It's a huge kavod, an honor to be pinch hitting and doing this without Rabbi Russell. And I think everybody here probably knows that she had big simcha. So I'm going to do Ari, if you're listening, which I kind of hope you're not. But I'll do your song for sure when we get there. Oh, good. The Siddur is now up in the chat, so you can access that. And or we're just going to go through the Kabbalat Shabbat Psalms, so they should be pretty much in any prayer book. But if you're in the Sim Shalom, I'm in the Slim Shalom Shabbat version. Let's start on page 14 with Yedid Nefesh. Before we officially start davening, I didn't get a chance to really hear myself before. So does this sound in general like the right volume level, everybody? I love it. Let's bring in Shabbat. Yedid nefesh av harachaman mishoch avdach el retzonach yarutz avdach kemo hayal yishtachave el mul hadarach yerav lo yedidotach minofetzu v'chotav. Adonai ziv ha'olam nafshi cholat ahavatach ana elna rafana la veharod lano am zivach az titchazek vetitrapeh והייתה לך שפחת העולם, ותיק יהמו רחמך וחוסנה על בן אהובך כי זה כמה נחשוף דירות בתפארת עוזה ענה אלי מחמד ליבי וחושנה והתתהלה גלנה ופרוס חביב עלי את סוכת שלומך תאיר ארץ מכבודך נגילה ונשמחה בך מהר אהוב כי במועד וכונני כימי עולם ay 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 I see you singing, Noah. That makes me feel good. Oh, hi, 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 hi. As we enter Shabbat, we start our Chazarat Hashavua, our review of the week. And our psalm, I guess, for Sunday would be L'chuna Ranana on page 15. And this is a version that I learned from Rabbi Russell, and it comes to us from Nava Tehillah in Israel. And it's kind of rocking, so I really like it. L'chuna Ranana l'Adonai Nariya Litzui Sheinu L'chuna Ranana l'Adonai Nariya Litzui Sheinu Mikadma Fana Betoda Vizmirod Narialo Yeah, yeah Vizmirod Narialo L'chuna Ranana l'Adonai Nariya Litzui Sheinu L'chuna Ranana l'Adonai Nariya Litzui Sheinu Nikadma Fana V'toda Nikadma Fana V'toda Vizmirod Nariya lo.
Oh, you did the drag today. I thought you might not feel well enough to do that right now.
Vizmirod Nariya lo. Ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol hakol Elohim asher yado mecharei haaretz v'tovot harim lo asher yamanu asu v'yashpeu nishmati b'kol ha'menachnu merim atishkod esei b'choneni gam ra'uf ali b'chatima 40 shana akut v'dor ואומרם טועי לבבהם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי ואף אם יבונה מנוחתי. Rabbi Dan privately chatted me. If you want to do something like creative and new, just go for it. But I've really been missing this old one. Shiru ladonai shir chadash Shiru ladonai kol haaretz Shiru ladonai baruch shemo Basru meyom leyom Yeshuato Sapru v'goyim kevodo B'chol amim niflotav Ki gadol Adonai Umhulam mehiyot Norahu Al kol Elohim Ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim V'Adonai shamayim asa Hod v'hadar lefanav Oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho Havul Adonai mishpachot amim Havul Adonai kevod v'hod Havul Adonai kevod shemo Sehu mincha uvu lechatzrotav Yishtachavu l'Adonai v'hadrat kodesh Chilu mipanav kol haaretz Imru v'goyim Adonai malach Aftikon tevel v'hatimut Yadin amim v'misharim Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz Yiramayam Umelo Yalo Sedai Bechol Asher Bo Lifnei Adonai Az Yiranenu Kol Atzeya Lifnei Adonai Kiva Lishpot haaretz Yishpot tevel v'tzedek V'hamim b'emunato Yalai ay 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 We run to page 17. Adonai malach tagel haaretz Yismechu im rabim Anan ve'arafel svivav tzedek v'mishpat machon kiso Hetev afanav tagel eretz aviv Harim kavod al asmihu melalai Hagiro shamayim tzidgato Verau kol amim kevodo Yeveshu kol avdei avatamim medalim medalim Ishtachavu lo kol Elohim. And if you want to join me in the middle of the page with the paragraph Shama v'tishmach Tzion Shama v'tishmach Tzion V'tagelna banot Yehuda Leman mishpatecha Adonai. Let's do that one more time together. Shama v'tismach Tzion V'tagelna banot Yehuda Leman mishpatecha Adonai. Hey ya, 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 oh. Hey ya, 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 oh. Hey ya, 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 oh. Ki Adonai Elyon kol haaretz me'od me'elohim. Adonai zenu shomer v'chatzim me'yad rashit. Yatzilem or Zaroa la tzadik Uli'ishrei lev simcha Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai V'hodu lezecher kodsho. Hey ya, 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 oh. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. You enter Psalm 98 on page 18. Shir l'Adonai shir chadash ki nivlot asa Hoshia lo yamino uzru hakodsho Hodi Adonai yeshuoto Eina goyim agalon tzidak kol zecher chostolem amonot levet Yisrael Ra'u kol tzvei eretz Adonai Elohim Hariu l'Adonai kol ha'aretz bitzchu v'reinenu zamrenu. So Amanda and David, if you happen to be listening, this one's dedicated to Riva, because I heard her tell her Ima that this was Jonathan's song, which makes me feel pretty good because it was her mom that taught it to me. But it goes in a round. Zamru l'Adonai b'chinor וכינור וכל זמרה. זמרו לאדוני וכינור, וכינור וכל זמרה. זמרו לאדוני וכינור, וכינור וכל זמרה. זמרו, זמרו לאדוני. זמרו, זמרו לאדוני. Now the great thing about Zoom is it's excellent for singing around. So you can do, if I'm doing the first part, do the second part. It's a lot of fun. I'll start on the second part. Ready? Zamru, Zamru, Ladonai. Zamru, Zamru, Ladonai. Zamru, Ladonai, Bechinor, Bechinor, Bechol Zimra. Zamru, Ladonai, Bechinor, Bechinor, Bechol Zimra. Zamru, Zamru, Ladonai. Zamru, Zamru, Ladonai. I don't want to interrupt your prayer, but Gene, I just have to say that I think Kermit the Frog is the perfect person. I'm imagining Kermit singing this one right now. Zamru l'Adonai v'chinor, v'chinor v'kol zimra. Zamru l'Adonai v'chinor, v'chinor v'kol zimra. Zamru, Zamru l'Adonai. Zamru, Zamru l'Adonai. Chatzot kol shofar, Har lifnei HaMelech Adonai, Yeram hayam umlo, tevel hashbod va, Ne'aron yimcha yachad harim maranenu, Lifnei Adonai kiva, Lishpot haaretz, Yishpot tevel, B'tzedek, Ve'amim b'meisharim. On the top of the next page, Adonai Malach, Yigazu Amim Yoshvev Gruvim Tanu Otaretz, Adonai Metzion Gadol, Beramam Adonai Yarim, Yadu Shimcha Nurav Kadoshu, V'yozem Melech Mishparai Abarar Kanuna Manashpat Romimu Adonai Lahinu, V'yishtachavu, V'yamnu Anan Yidaber Lehem Shamru Ladodam V'yadodam, Adonai Eloheinu Natem Adonam Seyatim. And at the bottom of our Chatima, let's all gather at the bottom of the mountain and get ready to praise our God. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. 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 V'ishtachavu leHar Kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu, Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, Romemu, Romemu. Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, Romemu, Romemu. Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, Romemu, Romemu. Adonai Eloheinu. Ya, 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 ya. And as we kind of enter the Nusach of our Psalm for Friday, and we all rise. I am not going to literally rise because I'm kind of locked in like the Matrix here with my Zoom setup, but I'm going to be rising from the waist up as we sing our Psalm for Friday and truly get ready to enter Shabbat. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod va'od, Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai b'hadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, kol Adonai b'koach, kol Adonai b'hadar, kol Adonai shover arazim, וישבר אדוני את הזה הלבנן, ויקדם כמו עגל לבנן, בסריון כמו בין רעמים. כל אדוני חוצב לכבות אש, כל אדוני יחיל מבא, Adonai mi bakadesh, kol Adonai יכול לעלות, ויחסות יערות, ובהיכלו כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למה בו ישב וישב, אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. איי 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 As we're truly ready to say goodbye to a week of creation, a week of work and struggle. And yes, Rabbi Ain, I'm going to do Lecha Dodo and turn it over to me. It's one of the great joys of this Zoom internet world, the different misprints and auto corrections that happen when you type things in English and type Hebrew words in English. וחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה לחדותי לקראת קלה page 21 פני שבת לקבלה שמור וזכור בדבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו תפארת ולתהילה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם דסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה קומצי מתוך ההפכה רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה הוא יחמול עלייך חמלה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה התנערי מעפר קומי לבשי בגדי תיבתך עמי על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי קורבה אל נפשי גאלה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שתברך כבוד אדוני אלייך נגלה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקמי מה תשתוכחי ומה תמי בך יחסו אני עמי ונבנתה עיר התהילה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדותי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה והיו למשיסה שוסייך ורחקו כל נבלייך אסיס עלייך אלוהייך כמשוש חתן על כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תברוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יד בניש בין פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצוהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה
Shabbat Shalom. Koach to Jonathan Baer. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for helping us enter into Shabbat. It's good to have you here. Thank you to Gary, as always, for leading us in our L'chaim. And hopefully you can disseminate to all of us all of the good recommendations that came through. Judy, it's good to see you. Judy, it's good to know, Judy, you're like me. If something doesn't click with me, and David is there too. If something doesn't click with me, Judy, right off the bat, why am I wasting my time? I once watched that entire series, John from Cincinnati. I expected something to happen. Nothing ever happened. That's where I learned my lesson. Good to see you. Jean, how are you? Good to see you and Kermit. Randy, how are you? Randy, good, nice win from Cueto today, huh? Right? Nice win from Cueto. Did you go to the game, Randy?
I was at the game. It was a great game. Cueto was awesome.
What was it like being at the game?
It was awesome, and people were socially distanced and they were separated. Most people were good about keeping their masks on. My usher had to tell a few people to put their masks back on, but the fans were totally into it. The weather was wonderful. It was so awesome to be back in the ballpark and just amongst Giants fans. So I'm still wearing my garb because I'm keeping the feeling. I don't want to leave the feeling.
Wow, my gosh, what a
Cueto was like 2016 Cueto. He was awesome.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was good.
A slice of heaven.
Yes.
Absolutely. Good to see you, Randy. Ellen, Shabbat Shalom. Rindy, Shabbat Shalom. Nice to see you. Okay, Noah. So Noah, turns out I'm leading next week. So I think one of the ideas that the shul has is to try, as we begin to think about returning to the synagogue in person, I think they're having me lead to depress the online numbers so that it looks better when we go back in person. So no, I'll be leading Kabbalat Shabbat next week. So that's my email. This is my email address right here. So Noah, send me a note, and I will connect you with Gary Sokol, and maybe he can invite some of his nephews and his nieces on next week, next Friday night. So we can have it. Even though Gary was so kind, Gary actually sent me, he said he really liked my Kabbalat Shabbat service last week, which I thought was adorable and sweet. So if you want to lead Lecha Dodi next week, just shoot me an email. Please do during the week. Naomi, I see you. Nice to see you. Naomi, you must be very excited about Mac Jones. I know you're very excited about the new quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, Mac Jones. I know you're excited about that. So that's good. Tamar, it is good to see you. And how are you, Avital and Noah and Judah? It's good to see you guys. You remember what I look like, right? I just saw you in person a few minutes ago. And their question to me was, when are we coming back for Fridays in person in our join service with Jonathan? Soon. We are working on it. We hope to be back soon. And just like San Francisco Giants are opening up and making plans, so are we to come back and have all the kids run around and be together again. So Shabbat Shalom. Nice to see you, Karen. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you, Karen. And Marcia, nice to see you. Marcia, I watched Stan's movie. That was one of the movies that I watched, The Insider. I watched The Insider recently, which was very powerful. That was moved. That was a move. So I'll be the one leading next week. Daniel, good to see you. How you been, Daniel? Good. You been good? It's always good. I miss seeing you. I miss seeing you walk through that door every Friday night. I think that's something we miss a lot of us. Stuart, how you doing? I hope all is going well in Brooklyn. All right. Natan, it's good to see you, Natan. I hope you're able to hear us. Doris, Shabbat Shalom. Sandra, Shabbat Shalom. Sandra, I think at some point, Sandra, just move your camera just down, like maybe slightly 15 to 20 degree angle. I think so we could all see you. Be really, whatever it is, just a little, if you just like, because we always just cut you off. We don't ever really get to see you. So I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to you. Jackie, I hope you're there somewhere. Jackie, Stephanie, Shabbat Shalom. Marlene, Samuel, Shabbat Shalom. Stephen Kelsey, what'd you think of that Talmud class last night, huh? So what I did was, Stephen Kelsey are in my Introduction to Judaism class, and I invited them, if you guys haven't had the chance to study Talmud with Dr. Bickert, every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, and I brought my introductory students into Talmud, and you guys have been arguing ever since, I hope?
Oh, we're always be arguing.
Never a dull day.
Shabbat Shalom. Good to see everybody here. So I think this week for a rabbi is hard, has been kind of challenging. So the Torah portion this week is Parshat Shmini. And, rabbis always want to come up with something interesting or creative to say. And if you take a look at the rabbi's interpretation of this Torah portion, they have a hard time coming up with something coherent to say. So the first part is this awful scene in which there's this celebration. We commemorate the completion of the tabernacle. And then Aaron, who's the high priest, his two sons, just of their own volition, or their zealousness, they go and they make their own sacrifice, which God doesn't ask for. And there is this Eish Zara, this strange fire that comes out, that consumes both of his sons, Nadav and Avihu. And the rabbis ask, what did they do wrong? To warrant that sort of punishment. And they come up with some different excuses. Maybe Nadav and Avihu were intoxicated, and therefore you shouldn't be intoxicated when you're doing sacred things. One idea. Another idea, is just maybe they were up to no good, or they had let their sort of status go to their head. And another idea put forth by Moses himself is that, maybe they were just too special. Maybe they were just too special, and that God needed them back home. And I think none of those answers are super comforting, I don't think. And ultimately, Aaron very famously says, Vayidom Aharon. So Aaron says nothing. He's left with just silence. And light of this. And then interestingly, the Torah portion moves into these strange rules about which foods are permissible to eat and which foods are not permissible to eat. So if I ask you, a land animal that I could eat would need to have what? Raise your hand. Go right ahead. A land animal that I could eat would need to have what? Karen.
Split hooves and chew its cud.
That's right. It would need to have split hooves and it would need to chew its good. Good. And something from the sea. Who wants to try? Something from the sea that I could eat would need to have what exactly? Who wants to give it a go there? Come on, Andrea. Andrea looks like you're getting in there.
Gills.
Noah?
Gills and
Gills?
scales.
Fins and scales. I think fins are gills, but I don't know. Maybe they are. So fins and scales. So fins are not gills or fins are gills? There seems to be some fins and
They're different.
I think they're different.
They're different. It's fins and scales, I think.
so I have an allergic response. I can't eat anything from the sea, so I wouldn't know a gill from a fin if I saw one. So that's fins and scales. And the rabbis, what is it about animals who chew their cud with split hooves or fish that have fins? Why are these clean and the other animals, the lobsters and the pig, why are they unclean? And throughout centuries, we've tried to come up with a whole bunch of reasons. Maybe you've heard some of them. Trichinosis, right? Maybe you've heard, well, they had trichinosis back in the day, not good to keep pig around, so avoid pig or things like that. Ultimately, we studied anthropologists who had this idea: the fish should swim, the land creatures should walk, and the birds should fly, and anything that does both, that's not kosher. And Maimonides, we studied Maimonides. And what does Rambam say? Rambam says, anybody who tries to give any sense to these laws is foolish, that you can't understand what it's about, in a similar way that Aaron couldn't possibly understand what that foreign fire was about. And then also this week we had Yom HaShoah. And we gathered together to discuss Yom HaShoah on Wednesday, and we gathered together Wednesday evening to remember those who perished in the Holocaust. And again, we gathered to discuss Yom HaShoah. We were also, I think, ultimately left silent. So I think when I began, I say it's hard as a rabbi because we want to give, we want to provide comfort, we want to give answers, especially when I can't give a hug. I want to say something interesting or meaningful for you. And this week, in this Torah portion, we're left without answers. And we're left with the unknown. And we still come together and we still discuss and we still share. And so the beauty of what we are doing here might not be about our ability to make sense of it. It just might be about our ability to share those stories, to continue to be in dialogue, and to continue to live with our sense of reality that there's something larger than all of us that we might not be able to wrap our arms around. So ultimately, my Devar Torah for today is that. And sort of Moses is given only one characterological description in the Torah. He's described as the most humble of all people on the earth. And I think that's a good model for when we think we know everything about diseases and flus and pandemics and how the world works. I think sometimes have to have a Shabbat to step back and say, maybe we don't know. So I just wanted to share all of that with you. I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. And as we think about what it is that we can understand and what it is that we can't understand and what it is that we live with, we also want to celebrate and have some simcha. And so I want to invite everyone to join me on Sunday to celebrate this community, which has really been amazing, if you think about it, over the past year. The support that many of you have found from the community, the support that I found. How many of you I didn't know a year ago, and how many of you I've met and created these amazing relationships just through this portal. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing you all in person and being back together. But I do want to encourage you all to take time and celebrate the shul. We do have to take time out of our lives to say thank you and to give back. And I want to encourage everyone to participate. Fonzie is going to be there. I've never met Fonzie. So, I mean, if anybody has a question, I mean, when I was a kid, I had a faux pleather jacket and my older brother had a faux leather jacket, and we would go downstairs and we would play Fonzie. And we both wanted to be fun. It was either that we were either using the leather jackets for Fonzie or for Grease. Those were the two things we played the most. So if you guys want to come and hang out with Henry Winkler and celebrate the shul, it's going to be a wonderful event, even though it is virtual. And God willing, we'll be able to get back together soon and celebrate Shabbat as Hashem intended us all to. And so with that, I want to turn it over to, I think that's my only announcement. Jonathan, are there any other announcements that I'm missing? I don't think so. Everybody should come on Sunday. Let me now, before I turn it over to Jonathan, let me pause as we approach the end of our service to acknowledge all of those members of our community who have passed away recently, as well as those for whom you are observing a yahrzeit, and that this community will be observing a yahrzeit this upcoming week. So we remember the recent passing of our friend Julia Eisenberg, Holly Chrisman's brother, Kenneth Chrisman, of Steve Foreman's father, who passed away earlier this week, Joseph Foreman, and those for whom we will be observing a yahrzeit this week: Richard Bartman, Joanna Samuel's uncle; Jeanette Gluckman, Gary Levin's family; Dora Gutfreund, Isaac Gutfreund's mother; David Hall, Helen Langer; Charles Lempert, Naomi's father; Dora Adela Meyer, Bert's mother; Mildred Minkowski, Dr. Robert Minkowski's mother; and Joseph Sohn, Dr. Norman Sohn's father. Are there any other names that anybody would like to include? So at this moment, I invite all of those who are in mourning or observing a yahrzeit to please rise, and you can unmute your machine for the Mourner's Kaddish, which is found on the bottom of page 24. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shmei Rabbah, Be'alma, Divra, Kirutei, V'yamlich, Malchutei, B'chayechon, U'v'yomechon, U'v'chayei, L'chol, Beis Yisrael, Hagala, Yizman, Kariv, Amen. Yehei, Shmei, Rabba, Barach, Ram, Baalmei, Maya, Yishtabach, Yishtabach, Yisromam, Yisnaseh, Sadar, Galeh, Yitzhalal, Shmei, Yisha, Richu, Le'ela, Min Kol Birchasa, Shirasa, Tushbechasa, Dechamasa, Damiran, Yimru, Ameh, Yehei, Shalama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, Yechayim, Lein, Yimru,
Amen.
Oseh Shalom
Shalom.
Hu Ya'aseh Shalom.
Shalom,
Leinu
Inu, Nakal, Yisrael, Yimru, Ameh.
May God, who makes for peace up in the heavens, please God, bring peace down here in our world and amongst all of the people of our world. And let us say, Amen.
Amen. Oh, say shalom b'mroma. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Imru shalom b'mrama. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru. Amen. Maker of great peace, give peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the inhabitants of the world. And this is something I do with the kids. We do Amen over Zoom in sign language. So this is an American sign language. This is Amen. We're going to end with Adon Olam, and it's a upbeat one, kind of punning off Shmini, the name of the Torah portion, because it's on the 8th day. Aaron and his sons have worked really, really hard for 7 days to get the consecration all ready. It's like they're getting ready for a wedding or something, like this huge, big event, which they should have done a lot of prep. Hashem is coming. It's a big deal. And on the 8th day, of course, things go very, very well until Rabbi Ain told us they don't. By the way, Rabbi Ain, I'm just picturing in my head like a whole Hillel Shammai, argument, but between like Danny from Greece and Fonzie.
and Rizzo, right?
Yes, Rizzo Amra. That's good. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so this is Adon Olam to a recognizable tune incorporating the word 8. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra leid nasa bechefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yihye b'tifara והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו והכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי הוא מנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו הפקיד רוחי והייתי שן ואירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי לא אירא everybody hold me love me hold me love me I ain't got nothing but love babe 8 days a week Parshat Shmini 8 days a week Shabbat Shalom L'Kulam.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I love that for Shmini. That's really great.
Shabbat Shalom.
Yasher Koach. Thank you to Jonathan. Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Daniel, Jean. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Take care. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat